Let me tell you about the one foster carer I had who not only broke my heart and made me cry, but she also made me destroy my whole bedroom. So this foster carer was a respite foster carer. So the foster carer I lived with in Epsom, who I called Catherine, she went on holiday to India. She didn't take me with her, so she put me with a respite foster carer. The respite foster carer lived in Carshalton. So she picked me up from Ewell, and we were driving to Carshalton. We were going down the A217, and if you know there's a McDonald's. We'll call her Shirley. This foster carer, I think she was in like her 50s to 60s. I'm sitting in the back seat. As we're just about to go past McDonald's, she turns to me in the back seat and says, "Are you hungry?" So we park up in the car park and we go into the McDonald's. We go up to the counter, we order our food. We are sitting there for about 5 minutes. I am halfway through eating a cheeseburger. And then I started crying. I am sitting there, just imagine, I'm biting into a cheeseburger and I start crying. And at first, I didn't know why. This foster carer, Shirley, is looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm saying, "Yeah," but like through tears. And I carried on crying throughout the whole meal. I'm still eating with tears, silent tears rolling down my face. It's in the car on the way to her house that I realised why I had started crying. I was crying because I'd realised that Shirley, this woman, was the first ever foster carer that had ever taken me out to eat. And she was my 5th. Not even a permanent foster carer. She was just a respite. The first one that ever taken me out to eat. And it was just to a McDonald's. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't fancy, but it was just nice. I cried eating a McDonald's. But that's not what made me destroy my bedroom. That's in part 2. Comment if you want to see it. So we get to the placement. She lives in this nice, simple, cute little house. I unpack my stuff, which is basically all of it because I didn't own a lot anyway. 4 days into the placement, I come out from my room and I can hear that Shirley is in the kitchen. I wanted to go to the kitchen for a glass of water, but I didn't want to interrupt Shirley. So I'm standing outside the kitchen door waiting to get my water, and I can hear all of Shirley's conversation. Shirley was talking on the phone about adoption. Whoever she was talking to on the phone, I think it was a friend based on the casualness of her words. She was saying, "I've just met this young girl. She seems really nice. She's a bit quiet. She's a bit shy, but I want to adopt her, I think. I just need to talk to the girl about it." Instantly, my jaw drops and my heart starts thumping, but in a good way. I was 16 years old, so the thought of possibly being adopted never occurred to me. And in that moment, I realised I wanted to be adopted. I'd had 5 foster placements where I didn't feel like I was at home. I wasn't in touch with my parents at this point. I thought, this is my chance to have a family. This is my chance to be owned by someone. And that might sound really weird, but honestly, at that age and based on my experiences then, that's all I wanted. I wanted someone to own me. I wanted someone to claim me as theirs. So after that day, I tried to be what I thought would be the perfect child for her. I would clean the whole house. I'd ask her constantly, is there anything I can do for you? Do you want me to tidy this? Do you want me to make you a cup of tea? Anything. She'd said I was quiet, so I tried not to be as quiet. I tried to get out of my shell, tell her a bit about my background, just really let her know who I am and like what she would be taking on. I was doing everything I could to make an amazing impression. We get to the day before I'm due to be picked up by my other foster carer. It's 9 p.m. The foster carer had texted me earlier in the day to say that she would pick me up at 8 a.m. So I'm sitting in the front room with Shirley and I'm thinking, when is she going to broach this conversation about her adopting me? If she doesn't do it now, like when is she going to do it? Because I'm being picked up tomorrow. So I broached the conversation. I brought it up. My exact words were, "So do you have some papers for me to fill out?" I didn't know how adoption worked. And Shirley gave me a weird look, but was sort of smiling, was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And I said, well, I overheard you talking to your friend about how you wanted to, adopt me. And, I'm due to be picked up tomorrow. So we need to let my foster carer know that I'm not going back. Shirley was dead silent, just stared at me, dead silent for about 10 seconds. And then she started laughing. And she said, "Honey, I wasn't talking about you." It turns out that before I had come to her house, she had a 7-year-old there on a respite. And that's who she wanted to adopt. Now, in hindsight, I believe she wasn't laughing out of maliciousness. I think she was laughing just out of shock, like she didn't know what to say. But me, 16, severe rejection and abandonment issues, I took it so personally. I was the type of person that I could see rejection where there was none. I could take any smallest sign of rejection and turn it into this huge thing and personal. When she was laughing at me, I took it as personal. I felt humiliated. I just walked out of the room. I went to my bedroom, still feeling humiliated. And then that humiliation turned into anger. I smashed the out of the bedroom. And when I say the bedroom, I mean my stuff. I didn't break any of the possessions that were there before I was there. I had my hair straighteners. I was banging them against the floor until the plates fell out. My clothes, I was ripping them up. I mean, a lot of them had holes in them anyway, so it wasn't hard. I was ripping all my clothes up. I took my laptop, I threw it against the wall, and it actually snapped. The lid came off it. And Shirley came to the doorway and was screaming at me to stop, and I couldn't. I then scratched the out of my own face. It's hard to explain because now I'm in such a good place now. It's hard to imagine that I actually did that, but I did. I clawed my face, blood everywhere. I had sharp nails. At the time, I just felt so ridiculous to actually think there was someone that would want to keep me. Like, it was almost like, how could I have been so stupid to think someone would love me enough to want me in their life forever? Because I have a relationship, like, with my mum and my sisters now. I have a relationship with them now, but while I was in care, I didn't. So to me, everyone I had ever loved, my mum, my sisters, my dad, they were all gone. I'd lost friends. I'd already had 4 or 5 foster placement breakdowns. So there was just this humiliation that how could I be so stupid to think someone would actually want me in their life forever? And I was angry at myself. I wasn't even angry at Shirley. I was angry at myself for getting the wrong end of the stick. But anyway, I broke all my stuff. Shirley was real nice about it, as in she didn't punish me, she didn't tell me off, she didn't really say much. I think she realised laughing probably didn't help. Anyway, my foster carer though, the one I was living with in Epsom, she picked me up the very next day. And yeah, I ended up living back in Epsom for a couple of months before I moved again. I'm all good now though.